But you could have totally, I mean, on the same lines, right? You could have totally your year goal, right? And that can change. You could have, okay, but to get to that year goal, which could be I want to lose 35 pounds, right? So say I want to lose 35 pounds, all right, so what's my incremental goal to get there? And what I've seen actually people happen, I have a friend of mine whose goal was just to lose 15 pounds. He went from wanting to lose 15 to losing 35, and then from doing that to wanting to run a marathon. And I mean, it changed in
Those
one
are different
year.
types of training too.
Right.
Yeah, and he probably had to flip, and now he's running, and he's doing what you were
And
talking
you
about.
probably gain weight when you run.
So
when
it's
you're
product
doing
backlog
marathon
evolved.
training.
I think there's actually retrospectives that are involved there. So when you actually hit a certain goal or a certain milestone, that's probably a good time to have a retrospective as to, you know, how did I do? Is there anything new that I want to try to accomplish? Is there anything new that's changed in my life since the last time I prioritized here? And then start another, you know.
So what are the time boxes then, or are there?
So for me, there are a few, right? So when I look at my workout, my time boxes are my week. So I have my full week iteration, because that goes through my whole body, entire body. I have my daily routine, which is the time box for what body part. I do one body part a day for 5 days. And then what cardio I want to hit within those. I have my 3-week cycle, which is basically, okay, it's 3 weeks my body hits my plateau. So I know that, so that means for 3 weeks I run my routine with my partner. The next 3 weeks he runs the routine for him. And then we keep switching until we both say, okay, we're done, we're burned out. We take 1 week off, just do cardio, relax, do nothing, and then we hit it again. 3 weeks through. So we have
3 and a break.
3 and a break.
Do you do a retrospective?
And then, yeah, we have a retrospective
how
and
often?
the end of the workout.
Also, like
End of the
daily?
day, how did we do? How did we feel? Oh, not too good. At the end of the week, okay, how was this week's workout? Not too bad. In the 3 weeks, how was my whole routine? We want to try something new. What do I want to get better at my routines? What routines do we want to add? Then he hits it, and then we see it. Okay, well now we do 3 weeks. So.
I look at mine in terms of running. So the first time I did a half marathon, what did I learn? That I didn't quite do it right. I didn't quite train in the way I needed to. Is one more thing? Absolutely.
Did you go through a group?
No. I did it on my own. And I had to go back and say, okay, what should I have done? And whether it might be, you know, X number of months before you lead up to a running event or a weekly type thing. Because you really have to go back and go, okay, if I want to do this again, I need to change it up. Do I need to do it differently? Like in my case, the whole thing, my body
Supplemental, yeah.
severely important.
The core will
because of how
come
I
into
did it.
play on that part. I had that same issue. I blew out my hip. There was, I mean, it was like your hip. Yeah, I just had knees, hip pointer, hip flexor issues. You know, there's supplemental exercises you need to do if you're going to be running those distances. Your body isn't used to it. You know, start overcompensating on what other part of your body that will hurt you.
And I'm getting ready to start
I'll
again.
never run a marathon.
Did you finish the marathon?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not built for a
Yeah,
marathon.
I'm not either. Think about it. Jeez, it took me 6 hours, but I did it.
Wow, that's great.
I'm a half.
Yeah.
And I ran 2 years from the first one, and I'm going to start gearing up to run another half.
Would you consider using Scrum to prepare yourself for that, or is there like another? Are you going to follow kind of what they have traditionally with the teams and working with the group?
I do mine on my own. And I think you have to combine with a little bit of both. You know, it's an interesting mix in that you have to have kind of a set team, but it's Scrum gives you really to change it up when you need to change it up.
Yeah.
And you know, to combine some of the things and to go, okay, today I said I was going to run 5, I'm going to run 4. That's okay. And then you go back and it becomes part of the backlog of, okay, I need to get to 5.
You need to catch up, yeah.
I need to get to that next piece before I can continue on.
Right.
But how do you? So how? And I guess when I look at that, sometimes when I look at the flexibility that when you say it's okay, I didn't run this, right? How do you know, or when do you gauge that? Okay, I slipped this, right? I missed this iteration. So that means the next iteration, either I got to catch up, or I got to. So, but what happens at the next iteration? When do you come to the point where it's I'm not going to make that date that can't move?
Like a failed release,
yeah, I mean,
right?
it is, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
at some point, it's okay, I missed, but eventually you got to come to it. I'm missing.
Yeah.
Now I've missed it. I'm not going to hit the marathon day. I'm not going to be able to run the way I want to.
Then you have to make a decision of, am I going to run it anyway, see how it goes? Or am I going to just am I going to reschedule? Because there's always a race.
There's another race, yeah.
There's always another race. Do I wait? Because one of the things with training to do it as a half or full, if you don't train, you actually don't, by the end of your training, you don't train, you're going to run 13, you only train about 10. If you're going to run,
in our case,
like 18 or 20.
Never got to 20. Like, you get 20 in the marathon, I was going to cry.
if you're training and your adrenaline will take you the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And it's one of that mix. You guys both hit on it, is having a partner, having something to do with it. Because when you do it on your own, you have to have some serious drive and willpower to do it. Because it's these people in January who go, ready. And you see gym ships are like,
I try to avoid the
Yeah, gym day week after.
about March, it's empty because people have just
February 1st in London.
Yeah.
You have to use whatever it is that moves you, whether it's somebody else or your own internal drive or a goal. So you have you talk about losing weight for a wedding. They're more like a stakeholder.
Yeah.
You're the master of your own destiny.
Sure.
But if you can't keep it interesting, if you can't keep it fun, you're going to fall off the boat. That's just that's human nature.
Yes. Yes.
Introducing the idea of teamwork to this rather than just a trainer and an individual.
Yeah, actually, I don't.
Maybe like 4 people that say, okay, we're a fitness scrum team, and the goals are the team. It's like we need to combine weight the team, so that it might be that sometimes one person's like struggling.
Like the Biggest Loser kind of concept.
Right, yeah. And you might not actually all work out together either, right? It just might be that's the team that.
Great.
Down to the rest of the team, they want to hit their goal, and they have to say, okay, this is and there's retrospective. Stressing how you solve problems. Improvement, and actually say, try this.
Yeah.
There's a commitment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And accountability, right?
Like you said,
There's also money, right?
Yeah.
Pay for this, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To run a marathon.
Yeah. When there's like that wallet.
Well, that's why trainers are sometimes. I am a trainer, but I've never gone to a trainer. I'm in gyms and they always say we give you free membership. I'm like, look, I don't need a trainer. You want to work out with me, great, but I'm not. I'm not. And I train them. But what tends to happen when you look at a trainer, though, why people like it is because you now pay money. So people, if you don't pay money, you can call up, I'm not going to be there today, right? Because they don't have that. So if the trainer says, no, I'm going to charge you no matter if you're here, you're not here. Sometimes I'm looking at them like, why? But it makes sense, right? Now it's like you can wake up in the morning, oh, I'll just get it for the next week, right? But no, if you're going to lose it if you're not here today, that's where the accountability comes in.
That's my, like when I get up in the morning and I think, oh my god, I'm too tired. Yeah, I don't really want to lose my 50 bucks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why the motivator is.
I pay a lot of money for that. And
better make up for it.
But
there's a website about that. I forget if you can find it, where you can make a commitment to yourself and make it put something behind it. So you can offer to donate money to charity if you don't reach your goal.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. You don't have to, right? But you can say, here's my credit card. I'll track my progress. If I don't make it, then X amount of dollars goes to this charity or.
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
Well, yeah, I'll see if I can find that.
I mean,